a nice, easy mathematical halfway point in the NFL's regular season anymore, not since expanding to 17 games. But with your favorite football team at 5-3 and embarking for Los Angeles, and what really would be the mathematical middle game, I guess it would be halftime would be the midpoint of the season, I thought it might be a good chance to look at how the rookie class of 2025 has fared to date. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Steelers, presented by FanDuel. Comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into hockey and or baseball. I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates where you found this. And just for fun, we're going to do it in reverse. We're going to start at the bottom of the draft class, and Dante Kent, their second pick of the 7th round. He's a corner. He's been on IR since late August due to a right ankle injury. There's been an opportunity to reinstate him. It has not been taken by the team, which should tell everyone that the plan for him is into the future. Now, that said, he did make a positive impression on management in Latrobe, using his outstanding speed to look like a guy who's got a real ceiling when it comes to being a quality coverage guy. This won't be the year, but he's hardly been buried. The other 7th round pick was Carson Bruner, the son of former tight end Mark Bruner, who has been exactly what it is that he was drafted to be, and that is a special teams guy, and a very, very good special teams guy. There hasn't been the splash from him on the coverage units that there was early on, but he's eminently capable and looks like someone who could be part of this for quite some time to come. Still working our way backward. Will Howard, who of course we could spend multiple episodes on because Will is already beloved. He has yet to take a single snap in anger in the National Football League, as everyone knows, because he hurt his finger, missed on the preseason entirely. He is back. He is practicing. He's not on IR, but I can tell you right now that if 2 quarterbacks were to go down, meaning Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph, I really believe that Skylar Thompson would be the guy who'd take the ball. Here again, it's no knock. It's just the circumstance that he was dealt. He's going to have to do a lot of catching up, really, if you think about it, next summer, to try to put himself into a position where he can compete with whoever it is that the Steelers might acquire, including, notably, high up in the NFL draft. Y.A. Black was the round 5 pick, and I'm going to admit, I've got a little bit of disappointment here, and it's not necessarily with him. It's with his usage. He looked like someone who could come in and make a difference right away at a position of need right away, and in a role that you could use right away, meaning big dude, stop the run, have your hands up, get some PDs. And yet he isn't seeing any sort of increase in snap counts. Now, that's going to have something to do with the guy I'm going to close this segment with, but I guess I still wanted to see Black really clamp down on a spot and a role with this team, and it has not happened yet. Again, definitely not ruling him out. 4th round, Jack Sawyer just came off the biggest play of his NFL career, and you love to see that. All of the edge rushers were eating against Indianapolis, but what you don't want in that scenario is for any of them to get left out. For Sawyer to come up with the big play, that interception, that's something that allows the coaching staff to believe in him. That's something that allows the coaching staff to feel comfortable when they utilize more of a rotation than the norm. Beyond that, it keeps the light on for maybe something more someday. I'm not going to lie here. I've been skeptical about Sawyer pretty much from the start, pretty much from when the pick was made. And maybe it's because, I think we're all a little bit spoiled here when it comes to the edge rusher position. And we're just expecting these blazing guys who can will their way on top of the quarterback and everything. He's doing well. Sawyer is doing well, and I would have said that even before the pick against the Colts. Third round is probably my favorite subject out of this class, and that would be Caleb Johnson. And I say that mostly because I've communicated with him quite a bit going back to the summer and then pretty much every week since. And I can attest that he, maybe more than anybody else in the class, has had to make an adjustment in terms of his intangibles, in terms of how he approaches the game, because when he was at Iowa, he was a heavy usage running back. He was the offense. He wasn't the leader of the offense. He was it. And he became accustomed not only to that feeling, but also to that rhythm. This is something that he and I have talked about quite a bit. So early on this season, whenever Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell were getting most of the snaps and he wasn't, it was almost as if he, not in a pouty way, but he took it personally. He took it as if, wow, I mean, it's been a while since I have felt like this. I'm not the guy here. Since then, I've noticed a softening of that stance, and he is embracing every opportunity that he has to touch the football. He has unquestionably, in my mind, erased the silly mistake on the kick return. He's a running back. That's what he was drafted to be. And for those of you with really sharp memories, you'll recall that this past Sunday, he got one carry and it was for 4 yards, but it was a nice carry. He went bursting through the middle and he fell forward. Some of the stuff that we were praising him for, all of us over the summer. He'll be fine. The declarations before the season that he could be some kind of superstar and make an immediate impact on 2025, those don't look so good right now. And I had similar thoughts at times watching him, so I'm not exempting myself, but he'll come. This won't be his year, and I think if there's one area of this draft class that's hurting from the standpoint of 2025 production, it's this one, because you don't have a whole lot of that in this class. You don't have a whole lot of production. You don't have a whole lot of numbers, quantifiable stuff. And that actually applies to the first rounder, Derek Harmon. Now, when you get someone from a defensive line rich class, meaning the overall class, and he comes with the justifiable hype that'll accompany someone 21st overall, and to boot, he is known as a pass rushing guy, as a numbers guy, someone who's going to get you those sacks and hurries and hits, pressures. Now, Harmon started off on the shelf, obviously, but he's now got 6 games in, 2 sacks, 6 pressures, 13 tackles, 1 missed tackle. You can kind of turn your nose up at it to an extent, except for one thing. This is the one where I'm going to go off of the statistical grid. Harmon is not over the top, but to a significant degree being praised by his teammates and coaches for having settled down the run defense. Now, the run defense hasn't been very good at all, obviously, except for the past couple of games. But it's Harmon who's gotten a lot of the quiet credit for having made that happen. How can that be if he's not getting tackles? Well, simple. If he's shedding his blocks effectively, and that's the number one priority of this group, if he's shutting off the gaps, that's the subtext to the number one priority, then when a running back looks upfield and he sees a great big 99, he's not going to run in that direction. He's going to find somewhere else to try to go. Or offensive coordinators will see that on film and say, well, we're not going in that direction. Same thing. It's just a decision that's made earlier in the week. That unto itself comes with value, and that's what I'm hearing about Harmon and the way he's performed. He's also been, on and off the field, mature beyond his 22 years, really talkative and interactive with his teammates, particularly the veterans. He's not somebody who's shelled up. He's constantly trying to learn more. that means from Cam Hayward, but it also means from guys whose names really don't get bounced around a lot in public, the backup defensive linemen, the guys who've been around for a long time that aren't getting any of the glory right now. He goes to them, not the other way around. He goes to them and seeks help, seeks advice. I'm happy with this pick to date. I'm kinda happy with the class, but sure, they could really use a 2026 pop from 2 or 3 of these prospects to grade up. When we come back, J1Q. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George is a personal injury law firm in Western Pennsylvania that represents injured people in automobile accidents, workers' compensation cases, and medical malpractice claims. The attorneys at Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George pride themselves in doing what they say they're going to do. It's important to them that when they make you a promise, they keep that promise. And this law firm has been keeping promises for over 80 years. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has been AV rated. That's the highest rating a law firm can receive for legal ability and ethics. And the lawyers at the firm have been designated super lawyers, that's a real thing, for over 15 years. Rare combination there. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has offices in Cranberry, Newcastle, Beaver Falls, Butler, and Elwood City. Learn more about them at lgkg.com or by calling 888-842-5454. Again, that's 888-842-5454. Football season's finally here. Time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are headed to the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials so you can join in on all the action. Today's J1Q comes from Larry Olson, who asks, DK, will this game be the one to tell us if last week against the Colts was a fluke or if the defense has really turned a corner? I'm not holding my breath, that's for sure. Larry, it's not any of that, and it's not going to be any of that, no matter which way it swings, even if it's just a facet of the game as opposed to the overall outcome. I'm sorry, I just don't look at these things in that vein. I'm not, what's that term Mike Tomlin uses? Seeking comfort. I love that too. He says, I'm not seeking comfort in this knowledge or this thought, because that's what that is. You want to be able to watch the rest of the games, not just you, Larry, like everybody. It's human nature, and not have to sweat anything out. Oh, this team is really good because last week wasn't a fluke and they've turned the corner and I can now believe in them again. No. They got to beat the Chargers. They got to play well to beat the Chargers. They certainly have to play well defensively. They're facing a better quarterback. They're facing, from a pass/run combined standpoint, the most productive quarterback in the NFL in Justin Herbert. That's a challenge unto itself. They've got to get their own running game back in gear. They got almost nothing against Indianapolis, and we didn't really talk about it because, you know, the outcome was the outcome, and the defense and all those takeaways carried the day. They've got to get a better showing from their wide receivers and tight ends. And that's not to completely let Aaron Rodgers off the hook, but I didn't think anything that went wrong Sunday night, or at least not very much of it, was due to quarterback play. They still have to stop the run. The Chargers still, under Jim Harbaugh, emphasize the run, even without Najee Harris, Omarion Hampton. And they've got to, and this is going to sound super cliched, and I'll apologize for that in advance, they just got to become a better football team. They've got to keep climbing. They can't, every couple of weeks, fall all the way off a cliff. If you're going to have a setback or a regression, let it be a slight one, like what we saw with the offense against the Colts. Let it be something that's not damaging, something that forces you to hit every reset button in sight. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. You don't need to climb in whatever mythical power rankings still exist. They don't need to buy anyone any degree of calm. They just need to get better. They need to progress. They need to win along the way. That would be nice. But there's a reason that I have been emphasizing performance above results for a while now with this team, going so far as saying I would rather see them play well and lose than be terrible and pull one out. Because the goal here shouldn't be to eke into the playoffs again and get tossed out with a 40-point loss again and again and again and again. And the only way to do well in the NFL playoffs, the only way is to find a way to be peaking at that point, which you can't do if you don't improve along the path. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. We'll have a double shot today at 4 p.m. Eastern. That'll be live, same place you found this, or better yet, go to the DK Pittsburgh Sports app, download that, email me, dk@dkpittsburghsports.com, to get the premium level of that app at a massive discount. Tomorrow, we'll be flying out to Los Angeles to begin our coverage from there, continuing all through the weekend. And go get the app, and you'll see what I mean by that. Appreciate that you listened to Daily Shot of Steelers. Hope you can join us again this afternoon.